Good morning and thanks for joining us. 𝐲𝐴Z𝐿 𝐷𝐿 TV, welcoming you all to another edition of Executive Corner Expert Talks, the show where we bring to you industry leaders, successful business owners and market experts all under one roof to help you discover the latest economic insights. Today we're joined by Mr. Prashant Haldankar, the CISO and co-founder of 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐞. You may recognize 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐞 as the independent security, governance, risk and compliance consulting firm we sat down with last week. Well, it's a pleasure to have them with us again. Welcome to the show, Prashant, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Great pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you on. Now, it seems that every second day we hear news of cyber attacks. So how does 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐞 ensure efficient and effective security and compliance?
Great question. So 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐞 is a boutique cyber consulting firm. We operate in Australia and Singapore. One of the key things that we see in the market is twofold. One is being proactive, and the second is being reactive. So if I approach that one by one, proactive means we get into organizations, understand their cyber profile, their maturity towards managing cyber risk, and also understanding what regulations and compliances they need to meet in the industry they operate in. So once we get a foothold of all these aspects, then we're able to better tailor our approach towards mitigating cybersecurity risk. I mean, risk is not going away at all. It can't be zero at any point, but the game is to be on top of this risk. So that's being proactive to understand what the organization is going through or what are the potential risks to these organizations, keeping those regulations and compliances in mind, as well as the industry they operate in. And the second is being reactive. Now, as you mentioned, cyber attacks are like happening every day. If we are not able to react with the customer, then we are not in the game. It's that fast-paced, right? This cyber industry. So, being available for the customer, being flexible, is the name of the game for us in the industry. So, combining these two aspects, the approach has been applicable regulatory requirements, that is overall profiling of organizations' weakness. We are successfully able to uplift organizations' cyber profile to meet the industry needs in an efficient manner, but also to make it cyber effective for them as part of their strategy.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Proactivity and reactivity is absolutely crucial when it comes to fighting cybercrime, which, as you mentioned, is never really going away. So in your opinion, how can we strengthen cooperation on a worldwide level to counter this kind of terrorism through cybersecurity?
Yeah, great point, and it's quite a broad question, but if I bring it down to the basics, I see that as in an organization there are business units, and those business units, if they talk to each other, collaborate, then we can achieve greater things. So if I put that perspective into worldwide and the countries or regions that we have across the world, if some of the critical nations come together and collaborate a bit more on various cybersecurity aspects, because cybersecurity is wide, there's a lot of things happening in cybersecurity. If we collaborate on certain aspects within those groups, I think we can achieve greater things. And by collaborating, I mean breaking it down into several working groups. So I've been following some news from the UN as well, where they have come up with cybersecurity and new technologies program. Within that program, they focus on three aspects mainly. One is the critical infrastructure. Critical infrastructure for any organization is crucial. Like it can be electrical grid, it can be a water plant. If there is a cyber attack on those type of infrastructures, then it's a big impact for a nation. The second one is more on gathering information on social media and other network activities. So if from an open source point of view, if you're able to be ahead of the game from a terrorist aspect, I think we're winning the game, because on one side, terrorists have a lot of time to spend to attack and plan things and all. But on the other side, there's a lot of investment required for people to go and come up with an approach to mitigate those risks. So I think we need to balance that. But on the other side, if you follow the news that is coming up from Taliban, there is a lot of there's a lot of work carried out using the unmanned aerial systems, which is again quite timely because there are further developments happening in the defense industry as well using unmanned aerial systems. So there are a lot of things, but if we can break it down into working groups and have subject matter experts from various countries operating into them, I think we and collaborate together in a much better way. I think we have gone far than what we are doing now.
Well, I couldn't agree more. That's absolutely fascinating, some of the things that you mentioned, particularly with working with the UN as well. And obviously, cybercrime is an international threat. It goes across countries, and many countries have been affected as well as their businesses. So collaboration is obviously key when it comes to fighting that issue. Now, we know that with the COVID-19 pandemic continuing to present unique challenges, the cyber risk landscape will continue to change. So I think it's fair to say that business owners and leaders need to stay on top of these risks within their organizations and implement appropriate strategies to mitigate them. So in your opinion, what should these strategies be?
Yeah, it's an interesting time. I mean, since COVID started and now, I think organizations have come a long way, but still you hear some companies saying, "Oh, we are coming back to the office now," but then there is an incident with COVID, and then they're back to going home and working remotely. But this has been the new normal, and I think people are fed up of hearing this word "new normal," but I'll stay away from that. The cyber safe environment and working from home it's actually something that has been adopted by organizations quite widely. But I think if you have to pinpoint on various things, I'll come down to the basic on what cybersecurity strategies should be looked at. When employees started working from home, organizations were not prepared for that. So I think if we look at the basic aspects, there are things like the endpoints or the home laptops where antivirus should be installed. There should be more cybersecurity awareness within the community as well as the employees to say what could go wrong. And it's basic, not making them experts in cybersecurity, but talking about the basic aspects. Phishing is one of the key where a lot of perpetrators are acting as trusted parties and luring employees and users to click on wrong things, which can eventuate into ransomware attacks and things like that. So I think, again, phishing awareness is the key there. The home network security, obviously, everyone is using their home networks, and what could go wrong, what could be fixed is something that employees should be aware of and try and get that fixed to the nth degree as possible. There are technologies such as virtual private networking, which is basically creating a secure channel between your home and the office network to make sure that it's not impacted by any unauthorized access. So I think it's again a basic aspect to think about, and that should be also considered. But if you just take it to the next level, if you talk about the advanced aspects, there are some technology matters where you could implement new technologies, implement intelligence gathering processes. There are some risk management activities as well, which people can think of. And there is a new term in the market, which is not so new anymore, where we talk about zero trust, where people don't get access if they're not able to authorize themselves to various resources. It's a different model where access is granted by default. So it's taking the worst case scenario where you don't trust anyone, but they have to prove themselves to make sure that they are eligible to access that resource, and only then they get access. So it's a new term, but I think it's going to become like a default solution moving forward.
Right, and those are some very excellent strategies, the ones you just mentioned. And obviously, a new technology is emerging to combat these issues that are arising. As the whole landscape is changing, people are working from home, and not everyone obviously is an expert in cybersecurity. A lot of employees lack that basic knowledge. Now, demand for cybersecurity is on the rise in Australia. So how does PrivacySec plan to leverage from this opportunity in the near term?
Yeah, so again, there are two things. Us being a cyber consulting firm, and as I mentioned, cybersecurity has various aspects. There are only certain things we can address on an immediate need, but from other aspects that are also important from cybersecurity point of view, like technology implementation and things like that. I think for us, collaboration is the key. There are organizations that specialize in certain things, and we specialize in certain things. So for us, if you work with other cybersecurity organizations and come together as a single force or single unit to address organizations cybersecurity risk, I think that's a win-win situation for everyone. What that also means is cybersecurity for an organization or for a community or even for a country is strengthening if we have this joint force operating together. The other crucial factor is cybersecurity skills. There is always a shortage of skills in cybersecurity space, and we're always on a hunt to find the diamond in the rough, if you like, to identify that person, grow their skills, and mentor them. So to address that particular opportunity, we have launched a Accelerator Program, which talks about how we can mentor some of the unique and talented people in the industry to bring them to the level where they are able to handle cybersecurity risk and help organizations improve their posture as well. But again, it's not only organizations, but it's also looking at the region and country level as well.
Definitely. And it's great to see PrivacySec rising to meet those challenges, as you mentioned, in this constantly evolving landscape. So we look forward to seeing some new things from the company as well. On that note, it's just about time to wrap up, but I've got to say thanks so much for joining us today. It's been great to hear insights.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure to have you on. Viewers, if you've just joined us, we just had a very interesting discussion with Mr. Prashant Haldankar of PrivacySec. If you missed the interview, you can catch it on our YouTube channel within the next couple of days. Although that is just about all from my end at the moment, so thanks for your time as well, viewers. Stay tuned for more live updates.